Welcome back everyone to the fields of Perthshire in Scotland. We have got a brand new permission and it's only me that's on it. We've got a pretty limited amount of time before this is ploughed and sown. It's been, I think, broccoli before, so it's going to be a case of picking between the plants. But there's a huge amount of history around here. There's Bronze Age, Iron Age, there's Neolithic, and more importantly, there is medieval. There's an old Motte and Bailey castle, which dates back to the Norman period. So let's see how we get on. It's just me today. I'm going to give this a quick couple of hours, and maybe, if we start to find some promising signs, I'll be back out with some of the guys later on. I was distracted. We have got a pair of red kites flying overhead, which until last year I'd never seen red kites in this area. So that's first of all great to see, and that in turn meant I was distracted and I forgot to plug in my earphones, and as a result all you can hear is wind noise. Let me see, do you see what I see? Do you see that bird up there? That is a red kite. It's got a very distinctive fanned tail and the way it kind of soars left to right. Anyway, it's not going to focus enough, but I have got a relic. We have got a big lump. What I initially thought was lead is actually bronze. Now that is a sign of metalworking. Could that be Bronze Age? Could that be thousands of years old? Maybe someone was making axe heads somewhere around here. That would be nice, wouldn't it? I thought it was lead initially, but it is not. It is bronze, albeit it's not particularly green in colour, but that's a good sign in the first couple of minutes. A few feet on from the lump of bronze. Have we got another lump of bronze? Let's have a look. It is very stony ground, not easy to dig. However, first spade, second spade, and look at that. Do you see that right there? Now, is that a small coin or a button? Oh, I think it might be our first coin. Barely a few minutes in on our new permission, and if there's no shank here, is it maybe a bobby? There's something going on there. A head of some description, maybe. And on this side, I think that's Britannia. That looks like it's going to be an early Georgian coin. Maybe George the First or second or third. And size-wise, I think that's going to be maybe a farthing, which I think was 4 pence. Or was it a quarter of a pence? No, it was a quarter of a pence, I think, a farthing. Right, let me give it a wee rub-a-dub and see. This field has got off to a flyer. A piece of bronze that could be, who knows, maybe thousands of years old, followed by an absolute cracker of a coin. It's a little bit worn on this side, but you can just make out Georgius 11 Rex. George the Second King, and you can see his bust looking to the left hand side, but it gets better. Look at that for a reverse. You have got the words Britannia around the outside, and look at that for a date. You are not going to get a clearer coin from the 18th century than that. 1739, just 6 years before Bonnie Prince Charlie landed at Glenfinnan on the Scottish mainland to raise the Stuart standard to try and restore the kings of the Stuarts to the throne of Great Britain. Ended unfortunately in disaster in 1746 when the Jacobites were soundly defeated, massacred at the Battle of Glencoe in April 1746. Battle of Glencoe, Battle of Culloden, should I say, in April 1746. So one wonders, could this coin have been held by someone who later would go on to fight at Culloden? If only this could talk. I'm sure it would have some stories to tell. And more importantly, the condition is phenomenal, so that's a great sign. Hopefully that means there's not been too many fertilisers spread on this field over the years. Great start, over the moon with that. I think we've got a wee surface find. See this little thing here? Just there. That looks metal to me. And it is. Don't have any earphones today because I went and left them at home and I went and forgot them. Well, that's a bit strange looking. Can't say I've had one of these before. Doesn't look like it's broken, it looks like it's supposed to be that shape. I don't know, some sort of fitting or some sort of leather related something. Doesn't look like it's part of a broken buckle, it looks like it's supposed to be rounded like that. I don't know, even some sort of fastening from clothes maybe? What do you reckon? Let me know in the comments below. I've hit quite a few big lumps of iron and a couple of tin cans, but it's a bit ropey, but let's see. I did say it sounded a bit ropey, and that, my dear friends, is a huge big lump of iron pipe. I think I might have found a sword. Well, it looks like it's maybe about 2 foot long, so maybe it's a broken sword. Seriously though, there have been some swords, some axe heads and also spearheads found in these fields and the neighbouring fields, so stranger things have happened. I have exposed an end, and I don't think this is... Oh, what is it? Oh, I thought it was going to be a spade. Now that is the bottom of a spiked pole. I thought it was going to be William Wallace's sword for a minute, but not to be. This one is a little bit dodgy. I don't know, it sounds maybe tinfoilish, but only one way to find out. Whatever it is, it's quite thin. It looks like it's copper and it is folded multiple times. However, I'm sure your eyes have been drawn to what looks like decoration around the edge. Could it have been gold gilded at some point as well? A few flecks there. Right, I'm going to see if I can gently tease this apart or whether it's just going to fall apart. And if it's just going to fall apart, I'll just leave it. But we'll have a look and see. It straightened out very easily. It's not particularly thick. It's copper. It's plain on the back. It's definitely broken all around that edge. However, it looks like it's had this sort of circle potentially in the centre. Is that a bit of lettering there? Now that I've just spotted, I don't think so. I think that's just some marks. But it's definitely got a decorated line around the edge. Not sure what that could be. Could be an ancient relic, or it could just be a little bit of junk. It sounds like a coin. Oh, where is it? There it is. Well, it did. Not quite so good now, it's a bit erratic, but yeah, maybe it's another part of that thing which was only right there. We're out the hole, about 5 inches deep. Seems to be somewhere here. Is that it there? No. Folks, we've got a coin, I think. That's silver. Oh, I don't believe it. That is hammered. Hammered on the new permission. First day out. I've only been here 1 hour. You beauty. Silver hammered coin. Right. I forgot to bring, as well as my headphones, I forgot to bring my fines pouch, which has got my water bottle in it. I'm not really doing very well today, but there is a little stream quite close by. It's got a damaged edge on it. That wasn't me, honest. Yeah, it's broken along the edge there, but the detail looks quite good on that. Right, I'm going to go and give this a little gentle wash. Always handy to have a little bit of spring water close at hand. The secret is not to drop the coin. And because it's spring water, it's actually pretty warm. It's about 8 or 9 degrees coming off of the mountain, so look at that. Look at that, that is beautiful. Doesn't look so good on the other side. But that is a cracker. Right, let's dry it off and have a closer look. You do kind of hope, because you're close to a medieval castle, that you will turn up a hammered coin, but in my experience it rarely works like that. More often than not, I tend to find some of the best finds in places which don't seem to have any obvious history close by. But this is a hammered silver coin. Size-wise, I'm guessing it's probably going to be a 6pence. Now, based on the reverse, I thought it was going to be Queen Elizabeth I. But I don't think it is. You can see the fleur-de-lis of France in the bottom right and the top left. You can see the 3 lions of England in the top right and the bottom left. Now, these are often seen on English coins for quite a number of different monarchs prior to the union with Scotland, or should I say the union of the monarchy in 1603 between Scotland and England. England maintained that they were rightful kings of France going all the way back to the 1300s, so that's the reason for the fleur-de-lis. However, on this side, the giveaway for me is, do you see these little dots along the bottom? These, what are actually, I think they're pearls. Part of a necklace. Please everyone with dirty minds, cease. And I think that is not Elizabeth I, but it is her cousin, Mary I of England, who is also known as Bloody Mary. Mary ruled for, if I remember rightly, 5 years, from around about 1555 or thereabouts, and she got the nickname Bloody Mary because she imposed Catholicism on England sort of 20 odd years, 25 years after Henry VIII had dissolved should I say, the monasteries. He basically created the Anglican Church of England, or the Church of England. I can't remember if it was Anglican at that point, but it wasn't controlled by the Pope in Rome. And Mary was still a Catholic. Edward VI was the son of Henry VIII. He ruled after the death of his father for, I think, from the age of about 9 until about 16. And then he took seriously ill, and he was desperate to prevent Mary becoming queen because of her Catholic faith. So Edward VI put his cousin, who was called Lady Jane Grey, the 9-day queen, put her next in the line of succession. But Mary, who was the who was the daughter of Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon, if I remember rightly, led an uprising and deposed Lady Jane Grey, who was then executed after barely 9 days on the throne, hence the nickname the 9-day queen. So Mary ruled a very bloody rule for a mere 5 years, and she was then in turn replaced by her, would it be stepsister or half-sister, Elizabeth I, in about 1558. And Elizabeth I then went on to, as we all know, execute her own cousin, who was Mary, Queen of Scots, after keeping her captive for 20 years. So there's one thing about the Tudors and the Stuarts: they loved chopping people's heads off. This one didn't sound amazing until it was out the hole. Well, not that it sounds amazing, but certainly is diggable. Maybe a bit of lead or something. Let's have a wee look. Big worm. Put that back in the hole. There it is. It is there, is it? Oh, what's going on? My spade. Nope, that's not it. Right. We are, after a lot of faffing about, we're in here. Looks like a bit of iron there, is it? Let's break it up and see. It's not in there, which means it has to be in here. It's in there. That certainly looks like a bit of coke, but is that the signal or is there something else? Oh no, it's a bit of greenery there. We have got greenery. Copper. Doesn't look like a coin. Oh, I've dropped it. Dropped it back in the hole with the worm. Is that it there? That is it there. Dropped it again. Shock horror. Right. Is it going to be some ancient Anglo-Saxon era? Looks maybe a bit decorated, possibly. Maybe not. Maybe it's just corroded. Right, I'll give this a gentle clean up and see. Nope, I think it's just corrosion marks rather than decoration. Thought there was maybe a couple of letters or something there, but it's just a slither of copper sheet, very, very thin. What we call junk. Just where this little disturbed bit of ground is was this broccoli plant, which I've just pulled out. That sounds not bad. Sounds more like that hammered coin I got earlier, but let's have a look and see. Thankfully it was very shallow, cause the ground is stony as hell and I've spotted something circular, which may or may not be metal. Doesn't feel very heavy, but it is. What have we got here then? Interrupted there by my alarm going off to tell me that I need to go back because I have got some office work to do. The day is never done. What have we got? Some sort of washer or button? Possibly. Strange one. I'm going to guess some sort of button because it doesn't feel very strong at all. It feels like a sort of really light tin or aluminium or aluminum, depending on where you're from. Okay, well, I think that is me for my two and a bit hour stint, and so far so good. Really good signs. to get a hammered coin on the first day on your brand new permission is brilliant, and within only a couple of hours. Now, I should put a word of warning up. I talked about I talked about Bronze Age graves and Iron Age occupation, the medieval Motte and Bailey Castle. Now, you can't just go and detect anywhere. You have to seek permission, first of all, from the landowner. Then you have to have a search online and make sure that the land is not scheduled, that it isn't an ancient monument. There are lots and lots, literally tens if not hundreds of thousands of scheduled monuments in Scotland, and they could be anything. They could be a huge castle like Edinburgh or Stirling, or they could be a simple lump or a bump on the ground, and often in ploughed fields and farm fields they just go by crop marks, so you wouldn't even see anything on the surface. So you've always got to check in advance and make sure that you don't fall foul of the law. Protected sites under no circumstances can be metal detected on, so make sure you know before you go. Okay, that's my lesson finished. So thank you all for watching. I'm pushing on to 6,000 subscribers. I think I've only got 40 more to go, and that'll make me at 6,000. So that would be tremendous if we could do that in the coming days or in the next week or so. Stay tuned, and I'm sure we'll be back on this field later on.